Alrighty, Janos. Sorry about that. I was just talking about you yesterday too. I was thinking Janos will be appearing soon. How was your adventure? How was your honeymoon? How was life? All good? Oh, that really you didn't miss you just missed just the basic crazy that's always going on. Things have just gotten I don't know if I could say it's worse, but just crazier. You really I mean the markets they've just been selling off a little bit for the last couple of days. The dollar is actually trying to find its way into, as you can see on J4X there. The pressure is on the downside. Yeah, yeah. The VIX is such a, it's like gold and silver. The Federal Reserve influences it way too much. Hey, Robin. Yeah, it just, yeah, the VIX is, I heard somebody yesterday recommend the VIX. They said, it's at 13, it's like, they were saying something like, you gotta buy it just for the safety of it. Well, I'll tell you, if you're buying it at 13, you better buy it for like like 3 months out. Because we could go through a sloppy sideways summer, where there's one pop, it takes it up, and then it brings it back down again, and now we're in the down again at this point, and I'm not really sure if there's really any, there's nothing, the markets are stalled in a normal way in the sense that when they know that there's going to be a change of policy, where are we at now? We're in June, right? We're heading for July. So we know that after, say, mid-March, less than, 7-8 months away, let's see, I guess like 8 months away, they know, and also the House of Representatives can slow anything and everything down to a great extent at this point. So policies are not going to change. The existing administration is going to say the same things over and over again, and money is going to stand to the side and just nibble. They'll do the minimal amount of work they have to do. That's all they're going to do at this point. They're just going to do the minimal amount. And, these people who thought that the Federal Reserve was going to lower rates in July are out of their minds. It's like they're hooked on some type of drug or something. These money managers. If I had money involved with a money manager that was talking 3 months ago that they're going to start dropping rates in July of 23, or no, I'm sorry, 22 of 22. I looked at them then when they were saying this on the TV 4 months ago. It was like, where do they get these crazy ideas? It's like as if they never invested past, they just started investing after 2009 or something like that. In other words, the level of logic and investing has gone, as you said, as you have shown, fundamentals are just not what they used to be. That's what it really comes down to. So, yeah, I thought of you every couple of days. I thought Janos is not missing anything now, and the market's moved up. It was pretty firm. S&P 500 went to 44, or was it 4,480 or 300? Yeah. Where are we at now? We're at. Let's put it up on the screen. Where is that at? Right there. And what is that? That's the Turkish lira. Oh, what are they're making all-time highs again in Turkish lira. Okay. Euro's looking the right way. Let me go over to here. Here's the intraday. Yeah, we're at 4,402. We got up to 4,000, no more than a couple days ago. Let's see if we can show it to you. We got up to 4,480, and then the S&P 500, and then it stalled out. There it is, right there. Matter of fact, we got a little bit even higher in the futures contract at 93, 4,493. That was last Friday, basically, and then it's just been hanging out since. It's been selling down. That's a nice little chunk they took out of it, but again, not concerned about too much at this point. I'm trying to think what's coming out here. I think there was There's no banking news today. Oh yes, I know what it is. The yesterday the Powell spoke for the House of Representatives, the Finance Committee. Now today he speaks for the Senate Finance Committee. So this is the old Humphrey Hawkins thing. So that's where we're at. Turkish lira. We're thinking since you've got a couple things we want to talk about with you. We have to talk about an index. I think we've kind of defined an index for the brick, and I think that it might be well worth you and I having a phone conversation about it. You should get me a clean demo account for J4X. This one has test trades and looks like they are all done. Yeah, I know. I've seen when I go to certain products. Maybe it's the euro. Check this out. When I go to the euro, I think it's like shows me all kinds of scaling and position, so forth. Let's see, where's it at? Yeah, like that, which is kind of cool actually. I have no idea what it's doing, but I think it's kind of neat that it's there. And we match it up to the Manhattan indicator that we've developed here. We're looking at the fast versus the slow, and so forth. Yeah, it's kind of neat. I don't know. It's I like that GAN thing that's going on there. That's what it looks like. It's like a GAN fan. And then these lines, I forget what these lines are. We had somebody else come in and ask about them. What is that? Pave box or something like that. Yeah, I always find it entertaining, just for the idea of just trying to see what people are thinking about, technical analysis wise, and what might be having some value. Let's see. I have to do the test trades. They are all 1,000 positions up and down at the random. What it shows is a merger of positions. Okay, I have no idea who set up the indicators on this. Yeah, I know it's funny looking. It's all right. It's entertaining if nothing else. All right. Let's see where we at. Let's go back to the dollar index. We'll take that apart. All right, right there you can see the dollar index. The slow is at 20.2. The fast is at 18.3. Still working its way down. Over here on Chicago Quant, let's take a look at the same product. Where's it at? Right there. You see the same situation going on. Going into a second day of a sell. It's in the weekly sell. The pressure is on. They're both below the manifold here. I have to add more data back here or something. I'm not sure what that's all about, but we'll straighten that out over the weekend, or maybe after the market closes today. You can see here it has that pressure. The dollar, I would imagine, is still going to dance. Let's go over to J4X. You see here I keep on seeing the century mark. It reminds me of when everybody was whining about when is the euro going to break one par. We talked about that for goodness years. And it has that same thing going on here with the dollar index at the moment. Seems to want to play with the par. There it is right there. That's back in January. Then it played with it again in what is that? That is March maybe. April. And I kind of think that it's going to take a lot of work for it to break through that area. There's a lot of support there, and right now with the way everybody's raising their rates, I'm now maybe some people are going to start to realize that the Federal Reserve is going to probably raise one or two more times, and that probably, as much as they would like to pretend that it's not going to happen, it's probably going to happen. Let's see, I have no ideas who's. Yeah, so the euro. Let's put the euro up there. Euro's acting well. It's that and the cable have been good. And they really have. They've not been having problems. we're really trapped in ranges. It's and that was very interesting to see the what do you call it? The way the Swiss at the end of last year having the problems with Credit Suisse, and once they cleaned that up, the currency went right back into norm. And you can see here the euro still trying to climb up. We're climbing back into the weekly buy. We closed in there last week. It's showing the strength this week. We've been in a daily buy now for a second day. There's that right there. We only slid into a daily sell for one day, and it moved right back into it again. Let's widen that out a little bit like that. There's the euro. And the pressure has been steady on the upside overall from, we went into that weekly buy back in here in the 107s or 106s, and we got up to almost 111. Is it 110? I think it's 110 we got up to. And, I think we'll see that again. I don't see any particular reason. The math keeps on kind of pointing in that direction. Also, now that the Federal Reserve is trying to convince everybody they are going to raise a couple more times, the market just says no. That's all. It doesn't want to believe it. That's because the market looks 6 months down. You can see how the bonds the bonds are trading here in the States. The 10-year is like 3.8. The 30-year is like 3.7. And then you go and look at 6 months from now, and that's trading at 5.6. So it's almost 2 percentage points higher. So it's anticipating 2 more quarter point increases. And the stock market, the media keeps on trying to pretend that it's trying to tell them that it's not happening, and that's not what it's telling us. It's telling us that they're looking down the road 6 months to a year. Like I was saying before, this administration has kind of come to the end. It's a lame duck at this point. And, they're going to make a lot of noise. They're going to say a lot of foolish things. But overall, the policies themselves are not going to change much when it comes to the economic side of things. I mean, they can slow economy down more because of executive orders. But after that, there's no real clarity at all when it comes to change. Nothing's going to really change at this point. It's going to stay like it is right now. And like I said, he'll just ramble. I guess you heard... Were you around for Biden on the weekend? Was that a campaign event? And at the end of it, he said, "God save the Queen." Did you hear that? There's the euro there, up on J4X. We're going to slide over to the cable. Yeah, God save the Queen. Someone's got to tell Joe that the Queen has passed on. And there's cable. Cable is looking a little like, we talked about this a couple of days ago. Consolidation versus profit taking. It's more of a consolidation going on than there is profit taking. Same thing here. Let's put it up on Chicago Quant. Right there. Now that's still in the weekly buy for a couple of weeks now. And it just keeps on marching. And we're in a daily sell for 3 days. It has gone literally nowhere. So, what's Yana say? Yana says, please look at the DAX 40. Yeah, let's take a look at that. I was saying something about the DAX a couple of days ago. Do you know that Apple Computer, the stock Apple, is as big as the London Stock Exchange? In other words, that it's $2 trillion, and they don't have $2 trillion of there it is right there. $2 trillion of stock trading. In other words, companies all combined together on the exchange. Not like the biggest, just $2 trillion. And would you believe on this Frankfurt exchange, it's twice that. So in other words, Apple Computer is twice the amount of every stock trading on the Frankfurt exchange. Now there it is right there. It's in euros. You can see the yellow where the slow is moving at 24, 24.1, and the fast is moving at, what's that, 16? Something like that. Even lower, maybe? 15 and change. So the pressure is still on for the last couple of days here on the daily. Let's see what the weekly looks like. It's probably starting to get towards a weekly sell for a second week, maybe, or a first. Let's see. We'll see in a second here. No, it's still not there. Now let's find it over here. I believe we have that too. Where's it at? It's in this. And we were able to find that. And I think just recently, I say, there's the euro. Let's try this. Let's copy this. And let's copy this and see if we can get it up on our math. We had it up here before. Paste. And then let's see if we can find this. Instrument. I think we had it in an index too, didn't we? Yeah, there it is. And there it is right there too. And let's get it up on there. There we go. Yeah, so it's been in a weekly sell from here. And it's been staying in that weekly sell even when it tried to climb up. We got into a daily buy for those 3 days. And then 3 days later, it was right back down again and lower. So let's put that. We'll grab one of these over here like that. So it went into the buy there. And 3 days later, it was at the peak. And went into the sell right there. Let's move this one over to there. Let's put one in. We can do a fresh one. Right there. That was the sell right there. And then 3 days later, they just smacked it back down again. And then, let's see. Let's move that over like that. Then it went back into the buy here. And was in the buy all the way up to there. Didn't do too well. That's because we're in a weekly sell. And then it went back into the buy again right there for that move up. And now it has been in the sell since right there. On that one right there. Let's see if we can clean up more of this. That's there. Let's move that over to there. And let's move that cell right to there. And let's see, there's the cell right there. And let's see, there, that's a buy right there. Let's get that up on the screen better. And we'll get rid of that. Remove. Yeah, it's interesting there. It's a. They've been doing pretty well, but it's kind of interesting. Let's put it up on J4X on a week. We have the weekly there. Yeah, the weekly has been in the buy throughout most of that action. You know, pushed into the sell. The Hinky-Ashky 82 there. 90. It was still in the buy, I guess, right there. 58. Yeah, so it was the lines were down below. It's telling you not to be long out of this because this was low. This was higher. The slow is higher than the fast. Let's see what we find on that. On the 5th, it was at 53, and on the 5th there, it was at 64. So, and then right there on this one right there, that little peak on the 12th, 65, and that was at 60. Let's see if I can figure this out. Looks like it was 58. So it actually popped up for this, and then now it's minus again. Or they're right on top of each other. Look at that, 58.37 versus 58.48 on the weekly. So the weekly kind of kept you honest out of this. In other words, you didn't take the longs. You might have taken one long in there. And you can see it over here. But overall, it's been in that sell. It just doesn't want to let go of it. And no doubt it went higher, but it also went lower. It broke the lows here. Then it goes and makes highs here. And I guess with this type of action, will we see this low taken out again? You know what it looks like? It looks like an expanding an expanding triangle. So in other words, it's got this going on. Let's see, where is it at? Right there. There. And there. Oop. And then I guess if we do this, lowers down just a little bit, like so. And take this and contract it, like so. So like this might be, somewhere's in here is the one. This is the starting off. It expands. Let's move that up a little bit more, like so. And if we could get, if that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seems to have failed. It hasn't been able to get going. And we'll see what they do with that product. Yeah, interesting. The whole stock market is, look, the Federal Reserve controls interest rates every day. They lend money overnight to brokerages and mutual funds and hedge funds and I can't even believe they lend it overnight. They're constantly lending them $1 billion. Citadel, one of the largest successful funds, profitable funds, they lend them $1 billion for free. They're lending all this money out for free to keep the market stable. Hence, quantitative easing. The objective is to keep things stable. May I say, for the politicians, keeping it stable for the politicians, not the public. All right. I mean, look at inflation. How could they make such a big mistake about inflation? We talked about it here for over a year. We kept on saying there's inflation. Transitory. What is this rubbish? I think I labeled, how many webinars did I label? Making a joke out of transitory. All right. From there, let's slide over to, let's see, where'd we go? We just checked out the DAX. We were just looking at the euro. So let's get the euro back up on the screen. No, we go back to cable at this point. So there's cable. Where's cable? Take a look at the cable right there. GBP right there. There it is. There's cable. And oh yes, we had that up on there. So we were looking at the cable. And you can see a little more pressure on it today, so forth and so on. But we're in a weekly buy. So it's awful hard to take it too serious. It's also in a weekly buy here. You can see we're at 82. This is the slow is at 63, so it's still climbing very healthily, very healthy on the upside. There's your daily. It's trapped in a little consolidation at the moment, just like it is here. Seeing some reds going nowhere, so forth and so on. From there, we'll jump over to the Swiss. There's the Swiss, looking very fine. It has really stabilized nicely. It's in a weekly sell on a very slim basis. So I'm going to get rid of that one. And nothing major. I don't really think it has a lot of room for the downside. I think we're at the low end of the range. Every time we go into a weekly buy and a daily buy is obviously got to be scrumptious on the upside. In other words, it's yummy. Eat it, buy it, be it. The when, as we say to Benny, the when. And then what do we got? Let's put that up on J4X. You'll see how well it matches up. Right there. And you can see the slow and the daily is trading at 33. The fast is at 38. It's trying to lift up. They are trying to get some buyers into this thing. And over here on Chicago Quant, same situation. No, it's not. That's kind of interesting. It's got the red going with. See how the Hinky Ashkies are red? We're still red there. And our green line is still, as much as it's turned up, it's still at the minus. It's in the minus zone. And the weekly is still in the weekly sell zone. So that pressure is still sideways down. I guess that's the best way to describe it, because we're 87s to 88 seem to be the bottom end of the range of this product. That's where the envelope seems to end. Then from there is the yen. Yen doing its thing on the walkabout thing. It's been in a daily buy since here. Just a little consolidation there. And matter of fact, we were comparing, Janos, consolidation versus profit, and looking at when the yen is gaining against the dollar and everybody else is losing against the dollar. That kind of tells us that we're more in an inflection of consolidation, not necessarily selling, outright selling or profit taking. It's more of a consolidation. They're just not buying anymore. It's not that they're selling much, they're just not buying. Another sip of the tea. So, that is the action we're seeing in the yen. Let's see what it looks like on J4X. I'm amazed that it's this high up, but I've given up trying to fight my own math. I'd like to say positive things about the yen, but, it's losing against the dollar, that's for sure. And as much as I want to say I like the yen personally, my math says no. Stay away from it. Or let's put it this way. Be short. That's what it's saying. Be short. If you're long, you're wrong. That's what it's saying. If you're long, you're wrong. Because you want to be short it. And you can see how long we've been in that weekly buy since back in here. Oh, you can't see that. Let's do that right here. Been in that weekly buy since back in here in the high 33s. And, it's been very, very successfully climbing. It's up almost 10 handles now from that. All right. From there, we go over to what we call little ruble. That is the Turkish lira. We kind of relate to it now like the ruble, the Turkish lira. We call it the little ruble. Okay, they made another all-time high today. And we've come to the conclusion while you're on on holiday and the honeymoon and so forth, that the let's see, there it is right there, Euro Turkish lira. Today another all-time high. We keep on thinking it's going to go like it's going the way of the old ruble in yesteryear, back in many decades ago or 2 decades back. It's doing the same thing. It's one day we're going to wake up and there's like 31 or 33 lira to the dollar or the euro or something like that. They're just I'm thinking of it now as like the junior ruble. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and there's nothing policy wise they're willing to change. So if they're not willing to change policy, it's going to keep on doing the same thing it's been doing. It's kind of like the way it rolls there. Then from there, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. We've really clarified what we call M-BRIC. Ever since Mexico decided they wanted to be inside the BRIC, they wanted to be a BRIC, and we look at that, and we've come up with an index. I think that Dukascopy should have the index. I'd like to have Dukascopy have it. We can call it the M-BRIC, or a Doc M-BRIC, or M-BRIC Doc indicator index. And what we've done is we've basically taken the strongest of the BRIC countries and emulated the dollar index, made it look exactly like the dollar index. Now, I made a couple indexes when I was young, and the Securities Exchange Commission gave me, the acronym and the whole bit. I had an internet highway index back in the early 90s. And matter of fact, Jim Cramer took it and turned it into the DOT index, DOT index. And so that this would be a really great currency thing for Dukascopy, I think. To have a brick index, and a real one that works. Not a fake one. And so the lead would be Mexican peso. That would take the position of what the euro does in the dollar index. It'd be about 53% of the index. And then from there, we would go over to, let's put the Mexican peso up too. Right there, there's the peso. And the peso has been gaining against the dollar. Let's put it up on J4X too so you can see how well it's been doing. Right there. You can see that's a daily chart. It's been doing fine. And so the dollar, and so when we look at the Mexican peso and the South African rand, they're the two pillars inside the brick, or what we call the M brick, and that's the what do we call that? The Mexican peso brick, or the major brick, or something like that, and that's really where we're at the moment. We're thinking that, and so you can see here the Mexican peso is contracting a little bit the last couple of days. It's trying to move up, and then same thing on Chicago Quant, and the dollar index. Let's go back over to the dollar index real quick. There it is. Just like that, right there. It's basically, it's up for the day, but down from yesterday. It's in a sell. And then when we go over to the Mexican peso, it does the reverse of that nicely. This is the Mexican peso. That's the index. And so we think that this, will be much more healthier for people to be able to try to understand, not only looking at pairs, but looking at what we would consider the brick itself, real brick. And the real brick would be Mexican peso, South African rand, and then the Indian rupee, which can we even get a quote on the rupee? I tried getting it off of J4X. I couldn't get a quote. It's the same way like the Brazilian real is. You can't get a quote on either of those. So but I can see where it's trading. It is trading at almost a penny. Indian rupees like 88 or something like that. It's 1.2 or 1.02. I guess it is. Is it 1.02? I think it's 1.02. I don't think it's 1.2. And if it is 1.2, then you're talking about it's trading about 80 of them to the dollar. Something like that, 83 of them to the dollar. And it would be an interesting index, and it would be something that could help Dukascopy get some traction on the currency stage. People would quote it. Usually the first successful product like that is the one it carries. So it would be like the Dow Jones Industrial Average for maybe a few years. Something we should talk about. Anyhow, that is the flavor of it all. Now, let's see, where do we go from there? So there's the Mexican peso. Then from there we go over to the South African rand, which would be about 18% of the index. That would be taking the position of the Japanese yen in the dollar index. I think that is 16% or 18%, something like that. Due to the fact that the South African rand and the Mexican peso are the two strongest of the real bricks, it makes it hard for us to give much room on the other products until they start growing, if they ever do start to grow. So there's the South African rand. It's moving up. This made an interesting move. When this goes down, in other words, it's gaining against the dollar with that slide there. Normally gold is going up. But you can see here, let me put gold up for a second. Or you know what, let's leave it like that. Let's put gold up on Chicago Quant. So they can be side by side. There it is right there. And you can see gold has been finding a way to go sideways down. That's why I have a box on it. And this going down, normally gold would be back up over 2,000. So we've really got some strange cross currents going on of late. I mean, when it comes to some of these products, it's not acting the way it normally does. Matter of fact, we know that the Canadian has gone walkabout. Now we got, ever since that political turmoil in South Africa back in December, January, the South African rand has been really tough. But it is the second biggest brick in our index. Mexican peso number 1, South African rand number 2, rupee number 3, and then after that, you just, to be honest, if they would clean up their act in Russia, they could be the Swiss franc of the number 4. Is it number 4? No, Canadian. The Canadian is number 4 in the dollar index. So it could be 8%. The ruble could be 8% of the index. It does trade. I mean, it is a floating currency. And so then we would go like the way we do with the dollar index, the Swiss franc and the kroner. They are 4% each in the dollar index. And I'm thinking that the what do you call it, the Chinese yuan could do that. We could see that being 4% or 3%, something like that. And then obviously the Brazilian real would be like 1%. So it'd be like 1%, 4%, 8% was that 12. That's 13% right there, the bottom three. And then was it 8, 4, and 1? That's 13. So all we do is make the rest of them equal to 87%, which is not hard to do. I mean, the euro in the dollar index is 53%, so we'd make the Mexican peso 54%, and we'd make the South African rand maybe 20 instead of like 16, the way the yen is in the dollar index. And then so that would be, or it might even be 18% on the dollar index. I haven't looked at it lately, but that would be 74% right there, and then we just make the rupee 8%. And you got yourself the same identical index, only it's a brick index instead of a dollar index. And it would make sense to us here. So anyway, I've laid that out for you. We'll have to have some conversation about that. I think it might be well worth going after. All right, from there we go over to, you can see, as I said, gold is doing nothing and falling. And you see how we have the 3 green bars on the South African rand. That makes sense because of the way it has been falling down. Gold falling down, and rand usually goes up. So something's going on with the rand a little bit more. Maybe back to the politics in a good way, not a bad way. And then from there, what do I want to? Oh, I know what I want to do. Is I want to put instead of on Chicago Kwan, I want to put the South African rand on there. See it right there, bouncing up the last 3 days. Gold bouncing down the last 3 days. But this move here was like that in the Canadian, and what else? What else was there? Canadian? Oh, and the Mexican peso. They all had that really beautiful ride down. Gaining against the dollar. That was very interesting to see that happen. All right. Oh, on Capitol Hill on Wednesday, Riley Gaines. She's slamming the NCAA for letting Thomas compete. There's a lot of these female athletes starting to realize that things are not working the way they want. God save the Queen. I just saw a picture of Joe Biden. God save the Queen. All right, from there, we pretty much done the currencies. What we're going to do is we're going to show you, in case Benny pops into the what do you call it, the recording of this. He'll be able to see where is it at? Right there. And it's been in the daily buy for a bunch of days here, and it's in the weekly buy now, because it got through here at the very first day of the week. Today's what, Thursday already? Yeah, Thursday. So, it's looking very strong. It's definitely in the buy. We take a Herculean effort to knock it out of it at this point. And that's the win. It's going up and away. Interesting that this fast is not even catching up yet. So this is really acting very, very firm. It makes these highs and then backs off to the center of the bar. And that is the GBP AUD. And then we throw the GBP JPY up there for him too. Right there. It's been in the sell for a day. It's pretty much unchanged, but made a high today, and it's trying to turn back up again, and it's been in that weekly buy now since the 64s. Alrighty, that's the currencies. So from there, we march ourselves over to the metals complex. So there's gold. Gold moving down. It's in that weekly sell for, what's that, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, now the 7th week. It's been in a daily sell. I'm not sure why that's there. That should be removed. It should be down here at this point. Let's get that in there right. There we are. Going to sell for 3 days. The pressure is on. Who says we have inflation, huh? It's in the eyes of the beholder and when you go to a store. I now think that Biden could have meant the Queen of Denmark. It could have been. You're right. It could have been. Yes, it could. You're right. You're right. And why he would be espousing that out in California, I have no idea. Maybe she was out there. You may be right. Maybe she was. Maybe she was visiting. We have the king of Sweden likes to come to our neighborhood here. A couple miles, about 15 kilometers away. Him or the Royal Highness comes every so often. Every like 10 or 15 years they come and celebrate things here. Because we have Swedesboro, which is like 350 years old. And so the Swedes came to America and landed here. And so they show up. So you're right. It's a good possibility. All right. Now from there, let's see. That's silver. You can see silver's doing the same thing. It's in a sell for 3 days. It jumped into the weekly buy last week and failed miserably. And it's right back. It's only minus 15, but it's trying. It's trying to get into that weekly sell. And the daily sell's got you protected. At least you're not long, that's for sure. Alrighty. From there, we go over to copper, which has been raging on the upside. It's like it doesn't care. It's like the honey badger. The fast has been in a weekly buy for 4 full weeks. The slow has been in a buy for just a week, going on the second full week now. And you can see the pressure on the upside, and it doesn't seem to be wanting to let go at all. It's just, God save the Queen of Denmark. Indeed. And then we go over to platinum. Right there. Platinum's been in that weekly sell. Let's fix this. Reload. There we go. So that's been in the sell for the last couple of days. And it's been in a weekly sell for a while. And the thing seems like it's sliding down to like the 900 area. And I guess, I'm just watching. Now we've gotten to almost 28 in the euro Turkish lira. We're figuring that, the first real stop will be is 31. And like I said, we like to call it the little ruble. We think of it that way. Another sip of the tea for the voice. Okay, from there, we go over to the energy sector. Let's take a look at the energy sector. And there is crude. There's the August contract. They're selling it down today. Down a few dollars, actually. It's trying to get into the sell as we speak. It's just 2 ticks away from it. The weekly is holding on by its fingernails. And then we look at the back month. That's the front month. That's 70.61. And the October contract is trading at 70.51. So it's only 9 cents off. And that is piercing through the sell as we speak. And the weekly has been in a weekly buy since like back in here, back in the end of May. It climbed up into the weekly buy, and it's kind of gone higher, then sold off, and then went into a buy again and climbed up again, and now it's selling off again. Oil, maybe we're going to see the low 60s. Maybe, I don't know. This is summer months for us. It's a little confusing. That's I guess that's the only way to really phrase it or refer to it. But at this point in time, the summer months, which are driving months here in the States, normally maybe not as much as you would think. Maybe. All right. Then remember, the economy is slowing. They've raised rates at a historic pace. Many people don't say that, but it is. We've never seen interest rates climb the way they have today. Over the last 13 months. They did censor Adam Schiff in the House of Representatives. Good for him. Excellent. All right. From there, we go over to Nat Gas. Let's see what the Nat Gas is doing right there. It has been in a daily buy. It's trying to hold on today. It's still there. It's up a little bit, but the line has broken down. The weekly has pierced, so we don't have a lot of confidence that this thing can find a way to go up very soon. The next daily sell could be, back into the 30s and 40s again, $2.30, maybe $2.40 area, if not lower. Let's go over to Brent. We'll put Brent up on J4X right there. You can see for days and days and days it's been trying to lift up. It is rolling over. We have 71 on the slow. We are at 58. Is that right? Yeah, 58 on the fast. So the pressure is on to get into that sell. And then let's take a look at Nat Gas here, right there. 69. So Divine at 59. That's what we say on a trading floor. 69 versus 59. It's breaking down again too. Just need a red hinky ASCII. And then let's slide our way over to Spain. Let's see what the energy company in Spain is doing as we speak. And there it is right there. Let's hope it's in the 25s or 26s. More than likely it's in the 26s. 26.69. 62 is their bid for. It's pressured on the last 3 days. Doing the same thing. It is in a sell here. The fast is lower than the slow. So that pressure is pressing on it. I'm not sure where. I did see the crazy jumps we've seen in natural gas in Europe over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And while you were gone, there were some charts I even had that show the whole thing. It's like, wow. They had some big spikes. I guess, it must have got hot, or they had to get the air conditioning going, or electricity or something. And so I'd imagine, I don't know what the temperatures have been lately. I haven't looked. How's Rega? Is it in 25? Let me see what that says. It'd be interesting to see. Weather in Latvia. Let's see what that says. And the question is, no. Just wild guess, but for some reason it, okay. Let's see, Bucharest is warm, 89 degrees. Budapest is 92, so they must have cranked up the air conditioning. That's what that was all about. Berlin is 81. Yeah, matter of fact, you should see the Let me just show you. It's very interesting. You should see the grains. Let's put soybeans up on J4X. And we'll show you what's been going on with the grains here. They've been roaring the last couple weeks. Soybeans have gone up a couple dollars. Where are soybeans? I just punch them in instead. Look at this move. It's up in the just let's see if we can get it up on here too at the same time. Open workspace. Oop, wrong place. Open that one. There we are. Yeah, look at that move. In the last 15 days, we've gone from $13 beans all the way up to $15 beans. Here it is on Chicago Quant. Right there. Same gig. And we went into the weekly buy and the fast down in here in the 13s. Went into the buy in the 14s here, and then they popped her. And got another second leg out of it nicely. Yeah, same thing with the... Yeah, wheat, same way. Oh, wheat was through the roof. Here you go. Here's September wheat. Look at this. In the last 5 days, it's gone from 6.5 a bushel to 7.5 a bushel. Yeah. Real pressure on the upside. Alrighty. You are back. Cool. I am glad. I talked about you yesterday. I just thought out of nowhere I started saying, I bet Janos is around the corner. My spider senses were kicking up. All right, so what should we label today? Today's title. Let's see. How about we say that we looked at the energies, we looked at the currencies. Was there anything jumping out? Nothing particular. Dollar weakening on pairs trades. Not really that weak. It's kind of sideways. Energies? No, let me think. How about stock indices consolidate? We looked at the DAX and S&P consolidate, but don't sell. How about that? DAX, S&Ps. Let's make that a capital. Well, 500. Consolidate. How's that sound? But don't sell. Consolidate. Consolidate. There we go. Okay, so this is Doc from North America. Catch you all tomorrow, TGIF. It'll be Friday. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders, and welcome home, Janos.